Happy Friday, North Central Washington. It is the 25th day of November, 2016, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we are back with another live edition here at Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee. A special edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's all about the Apple Cup, but not everybody really understands what the Apple Cup is all about. In fact, one of my coworkers earlier today, I asked her, hey, what do you think about the Apple Cup? And she said, it's my favorite restaurant. Not everybody's going to follow the game. My guest today, we have a Husky and a Cougar. We were actually going to have a Husky and a Cougar in studio doing battle, but the ASPCA said no. So instead, we have a Washington alum and a Washington State alum. I'm going to keep you in suspense, but you'll find out a little bit later on our show. So obviously, we have two chairs here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. No news today. Our crack news team had yesterday off. Congratulations, they deserved it. They'll be working today. But it is Friday, so they won't be working real hard. So we don't have any news for you today, but everything else applies. We got sports, lots of sports to get to. The obscure holiday, the birthday club, today in history, and the weather forecast for the Wenatchee Valley and the Pass Report on this busy travel Friday. So let's take you around the Wenatchee Valley with our Valley View cameras. And as always, we begin with the camera up on the Wenatchee Heights. That is a live shot on a beautiful Friday morning. Happy Black Friday to you. If you got up early to go out and get some deals, don't forget, if you're going to buy me a present, make it big and expensive. That's my rule of thumb, big and expensive. There's the Wenatchee Valley. Let's take a look at Omi Gardens, looking directly south to the valley, and there's the Yottabashian Bridge right smack dab in the middle of your photo. Beautiful morning today. Very strange weather pattern. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but we've already hit the afternoon high today. I'll explain that in just a minute. Number One Canyon, what are you up to today? Let's find out together. Where are you, Number One Canyon? Maybe you're not. Oh, there we go. There's East Wenatchee, of course, as the sun starts getting its job done, coming up over the bench, and finally to Cougar Ridge as we look out over the Sunny Slope area, Old Station, and of course, Cashmere deep in the background, and lots of white stuff up in the hills. Quick little note about Mission Ridge, they did not have enough snow to make it happen. They're shooting for December 2nd for an opening, so there was no skiing or will be any skiing this weekend at Mission Ridge. They're shooting for December 2nd to fire up the mountain. So there you go. That's a look around the Wenatchee Valley. Once again, we do not have a newscast for you today, but we do have a weather forecast for you. And let's bring that up at 3 minutes after the hour on this Friday, November 25th. There is your forecast. Here's the strange little weather phenomenon that's going on. You see that high of 43. It's actually going to get cooler as the day goes on. Our high temperature yesterday on Thanksgiving was at 51 degrees, and that was right before midnight. So as this day progresses, it's actually going to get colder, not warmer. We were at 51 degrees at midnight. We're down to 45 degrees, and will eventually, again, as the afternoon progresses, get cooler, not warmer. It doesn't happen too often, but that's really the kind of weather that we're dealing with. A prolonged period of unsettled weather. You'll see that sunshine on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, back and forth. Best chance of measurable precipitation here in the Wenatchee Valley later on today and overnight into Saturday. I want to take you to the forecast for the mountain passes because this is a very busy travel day today. This is a good time to go. Right now, Blewett Pass does have a traction tire requirement because of ice on the roadway. Right now, it is not snowing or raining on Blewett Pass. Traction tires are advised on Stevens right now. No advisories or restrictions on I-90. All things considered, not a bad day of travel today. Maybe an inch of snow in the Cascades today. Tonight, snow likely, but not heavy snow, more of the light snow variety. Saturday, good chance of rain mixed with snow. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s on the mountain passes. So all in all, not bad to travel in the Cascades. If you are traveling or planning to go over the river and through the woods either direction, it's not looking really too bad at all. Again, right now, Blewett Pass does have a traction tire requirement because there's quite a bit of ice on the roadway. And by the way, the forecast for Pullman today, pretty mild. Highs will be in the mid-40s. A little bit of light rain to kick off. The rain should be tapering off. It's going to be a little breezy, which could affect the passing game. But all in all, as far as Pullman is concerned, 45 degrees in late November is really pretty much a heat wave. It is 5 minutes after the hour. Let's go ahead and do sports on this Friday. And we'll start out with, of course, the Wenatchee Wild. After suffering its first 3-game losing streak on the road last weekend, the Wild are now on a 2-game winning streak. They downed Chilliwack Wednesday at the Town Toyota Center. The final was 5-3. Matt Baker gave the Wild the early lead by lighting the lamp at the 8:45 mark of the first period. Troy Conzo put Wenatchee up 2-0 just a minute into the second period. Justin Dixon cut the lead to 2-1 for the visitors with a goal 56 seconds later. In the third period, and it was a wild third period, Connor McCarthy started the scoring at the 3:08 mark. That tied it at 2-2, and then Wenatchee went back out on top 3-2 on Jasper Weatherby's goal at the 8:55 mark. Lucas Souter and Brian Williams followed with the goals at the 8 and 10 minute marks to put the game away. Wenatchee up 5-2. Again, they eventually defeated the Chiefs 5-3, so that win avenged a road loss at Chilliwack just 1 week ago. So, Wenatchee and Chilliwack are tied with 39 points to lead the BCHL's Mainland Division. The Wild will host Vernon tonight at 7 o'clock and then West Kelowna at the Town Toyota Center tomorrow at 7. Let's talk college football. Here we go. It's the big day. Everybody's been waiting for this one. The 109th Apple Cup, number 5 Washington, number 23 Washington State, Martin Stadium, Pullman on the line, of course. Whoever wins the game will win the Pac-12 North Conference title and will punch their ticket to the Pac-12 championship game against either Colorado or Southern California. For the Huskies, a possible shot at the college football playoffs. But of course, the Huskies have to win out. They got to win today, and they got to win next week in Santa Clara. Huskies a 6-point favorite, and we'll talk about this game in depth on the second part of this program. Kickoff 12:30 on Fox. College basketball. Gonzaga is at the Advocare Invitation. They won its first-round game against Quinnipiac last night. The final was 82-62. Jonathan Williams and Zach Collins led a balanced offense, 13 points apiece. The Zags, ranked number 11 in this week's AP poll, will take on undefeated Florida in the semifinals. Today, Washington is at Western Kentucky. NFL football. Thanksgiving. Matt Prater's 40-yard field goal as time expired gives Detroit yet another fourth-quarter come-from-behind victory. Minnesota, the victim, the final 16-13 in Dallas. The Cowboys got 97 yards and 2 touchdowns from Ezekiel Elliott. While Dak Prescott threw for 1 and ran for another, they beat Washington 31-26. The boys have reeled off 10 straight victories, and they currently lead the Seahawks for home field advantage in the NFC. And finally, in Indianapolis, the Colts just couldn't overcome being without Andrew Luck. He was out with a concussion, lost to the Steelers 28-7. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 3 touchdowns, while Le'Veon Bell ran for another. Seahawks will go for a 4th consecutive win Sunday. They travel to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Kickoff slated for 1 o'clock. It is an East Coast game, but it's still a 1 o'clock kickoff. Also in the NFC West, Arizona plays at Atlanta. The Niners are in Miami, and the Rams are in New Orleans. And here's some football highlights that I brought with me. This is the Kuntz family Turkey Bowl from yesterday morning at Riverside Park in Cashmere. So here's some of the great highlights. There's Pops Kuntz celebrating his birthday. That's complete to my nephew Jack for I believe a first down. Huge crowd on hand, as you might imagine. And this next play is another completion. This is Pops Kuntz to my nephew Brock Kuntz, and there you go. And this is when Brock runs into the camera, so we had to stop right there so nobody would get hurt. Also, one more highlight to pass along to you. This is Brock at quarterback. That's his sister Morgan running a pass pattern, and he completes it to his brother Brady, and there it is. Brady for the touchdown. Brady, later on in the day, accomplished something that's very difficult to do. He lost his debit card in his car, and he had to get a new one. So there you go. Highlights from the Kuntz family Turkey Bowl yesterday. Nobody was hurt, which is remarkable for us. 8 minutes after the hour, let's do the obscure holiday of the day today. Most people think, okay, I'm going to profile Black Friday. I'm not going to profile Black Friday. It's an anti-consumerism day today. It is Buy Nothing Day, a 24-hour moratorium on buying anything. It was created as a protest, as you might imagine, against the commercialism of Black Friday. So abstain from shopping today if you so desire. And if you do so, you will be celebrating with many, many other people Buy Nothing Day, always the day after Thanksgiving. 9 minutes after the hour, live from Studio 12 in downtown Wenatchee. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and it's time for Today in History for this 25th day of November. 3 events to pass along to you. On this date in 1783, during the Revolutionary War, the British evacuated New York City. It was their last military position in the U.S. in New York City. It is celebrated always as Evacuation Day. That was pretty much it. The British said, we're out of here, Manhattan. George Washington marched into Manhattan, and that pretty much wrapped up the Revolutionary War. Strangely enough, historians now believe that the Revolutionary War started when Great Britain tried to get rid of New Jersey, and things just got out of hand. Today is Evacuation Day in New York. Happened on this date in 1783. The Compromise of 1850 happened on this date in 1850. That's when Texas gave up 1/3 of its territory, and in exchange, the U.S. gave them $10 million to pay off its debts and to settle all the border disputes. It's known as the Compromise of 1850. Texas said, hey, for $10 million, you can have this. And the U.S. said, okay. Happened on this date in 1850. And on this date in 1986, the Iran-Contra scandal blew wide open. That's when U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Attorney General Edward Meese they revealed that profits from secret arms sales to Iran had been diverted to the rebels in Nicaragua. It happened on this date in 1986. National Security Advisor John Poindexter resigned. Oliver North was fired. The Iran-Contra scandal blew wide open on this date in 1986. And finally, at 11 minutes after the hour, let's do birthdays for this day, this November 25th. Two people no longer with us, including the legendary Yankee Clipper, Jolton Joe DiMaggio, was born on this date in 1914, passed away at the age of 84 in 1999. Up until his death in March of 1999, he was voted baseball's greatest living player. That probably goes now to Willie Mays. But the great Joe DiMaggio, born on this date in 1914. He would have been 56 years old yesterday. John F. Kennedy Jr. John F. Kennedy Jr. Passed away at the age of 38 in that famous plane crash in 1999. Today would have been his 56th birthday. Celebrating a 56th birthday today is Amy Grant. Happy birthday, Amy Grant. She is 56 years old. Happy birthday. So we got 56 would have been for John F. Kennedy. Amy Grant, 56. And yesterday, my brother Jim Pops Scoots, there he is, there's Pops. He celebrated his 56th birthday as well, and you saw him with tremendous form at the Coons Family Turkey Bowl. Don't forget, if you know somebody who's celebrating a birthday or a special day, you can get them to me. All you have to do is go to our website, ncwlife.com, click on the birthday club icon, fill out the form, get it to me, and I'll get it on the air. 12 minutes after the hour, going to take a 3-minute break. When we come back, we are talking Apple Cup with an alumnus from the University of Washington and an alumnus from Washington State University. Who's going to win? We'll find out in about 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. The NCW Life channel serves as Wenatchee's local TV station. Our channel highlights community growth, information, sports, and entertainment. You can experience the news, events, and people of North Central Washington on the station that is committed to the area we call home.
You've seen their rigs all over town. It's Young Bucks Landscaping. Licensed, bonded, and insured, Young Bucks Landscaping is providing the Wenatchee Valley with quality landscape installation and maintenance. You may be thinking of tree pruning, stump grinding, fall yard maintenance, or any host of home care projects. Let the hardest working, dependable staff of Young Bucks Landscaping handle the task. For more information, call 509-470-5684. Young Bucks Landscaping.
Do you have a teenage son with a hollow leg and 2 stomachs? Has your husband ever cleaned out the fridge for a snack? Are you hosting a couple linebackers for dinner? Then this is the pizza for you. Papa Murphy's 5-meat stuffed pizza. Pepperoni, Canadian bacon, crispy bacon, Italian sausage, and ground beef. Stuffed between 2 layers of scratch-made dough. Home bake a large Papa Murphy's 5-meat stuffed pizza. Just $12, and save even more when you order at papamurphys.com. Love at 425 degrees.
Imagine a getaway so close to home and yet feels so far away. Feel the serenity away from your daily life at Featherwinds Bed and Breakfast in Plain, Washington. Enjoy the comforts of a spacious lodge and the privacy and comfort of a jacuzzi tub and fireplace in your room. Spend a night away from the daily grind at Featherwinds Lodge. Book a night today and ask for the holiday special.
Presenting everything you love about F-150, only supersized. The all-new 2017 high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy Super Duty has arrived. Combining all the industry-leading technology and creature comforts, including up to 7 cameras, with best-in-class towing and hauling. Drive one today at Town Ford Lincoln on 3rd Street in East Wenatchee at the top of Auto Road.
And we are back at quarter after the hour on this live edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Apple Cup, the topic of the day today. And so I have two people who are associated with the University of Washington and Washington State University. To my immediate left, the mayor of Wenatchee, Frank Kuntz, University of Washington class of 1985. And on the far left to me, on the right on your screen, Brian Mayer, my nephew, Washington State University class of 2000. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thanks, Dan. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So my first question is for the mayor. What's up with all the potholes on my street?
That's the way it goes.
Okay.
I've heard you've been driving fast, and so I want to slow you down a little bit. Pedestrian safety is very important. So,
Biggest game probably ever. Biggest Apple Cup probably ever. We go back to 1981 when both teams had a chance to go to the Rose Bowl. But on that game, Huskies had to have USC beat UCLA to make it.
And they did.
And they did. So and that was actually going on during the game because those games were going on simultaneously, right? Not the case this year. Whoever wins the Pac-12 North. You're going.
I'm going, and we can't wait to be there. Frankly, if I was a Husky fan, I'd be a little concerned. Jake's been showing some kinks in the armor over the course of the last couple of weeks, and I'd be a little worried that the nerves is going to get to him.
Do you think that the Washington State coaches studied a lot of that USC game film? Because the Trojans' defense just shut down the Dogs.
yeah, film's out there now, right?
Yeah.
So as coaches, you watch it and you know what was successful at USC and Arizona State, and so you try to run some of those things, which also have the same athlete, right? And USC's had some pretty incredible athletes, so they were able to make some plays. Obviously, I was talking off the air. I think the team that's got the most rushing yards at the end of the day is going to win. Washington runs so they can pass. Washington State passes so they can run, but I really think the ground game, someone's got to get to about 150 yards rushing, and that's the team that's going to be able to, has been dominating the game if you get to that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, USC really started taking off when Azim Victor went down.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a major concern for those Huskies. Between him and Joe Mathis, both being not into the game today, it's going to have an impact on the pass rush. And while I'd be concerned about the run, I'd also be concerned about their ability to get to the quarterback and Luke Falk. I mean, I don't know if you watched the Colorado game last week, but the guy has pinpoint accuracy. He's throwing the ball before they're out of their breaks and really just dropping it on a dime. So I'm excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, those first 7 or 8 games, the Huskies basically just sat in the zone and could get pressure with 4 guys. And they literally, I think, had the least number of blitzes of any team in college football. Azim Victor and the Mathis guy goes down, and now we can't get any sort of pressure unless you're bringing a 5th guy. And so that'll expose some of our defensive backs. We got great cornerbacks, right, and Buda Baker at safety, but you saw him blitz quite a bit against Arizona State. And that was new to us. And so I think to get any pressure on Luke Falk, you're going to have to bring a safety and a linebacker. So it'll be interesting matchups. The 2 corners that the Huskies have are off the charts good, and so it'll be a great matchup that way. But I agree with Brian. For us to put pressure on Luke, we're going to have to bring guys.
Mike Leach doesn't chuck the ball 70 times a game anymore. He understands that to make the defense honest, you got to at least run with some sort of effectiveness, or the Huskies can just sit back and say, throw the ball, we'll be waiting for you. But now the Cougars have a running game. Surprise, surprise. So how often do you think Leach is going to actually run the ball to keep the defense honest?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if people know this or not, but, Leach always calls a pass play going into each and every possession. And it's up to Luke to take a look at the numbers, figure out what's in front of him, and then decide if he's going to run the ball or not. But that being said, there's really 2 versions of the run here that the Cougars run. There's your typical run, and then there's the short pass out of the backfield, which is effectively a run, right? And if you take a look at the numbers, that trio of running backs in the backfield, it's the most productive in the country from yards per scrimmage. So they're really coming at it from a different angle, but highly effective.
Chris Peterson is not afraid to do goofy, crazy, nutty plays. He's known for that. You think a couple of trick plays?
And the Cougars will have them too. You don't have an Apple Cup with each team trying to have a couple of trick plays. They'll have them. don't know who'll be successful at them. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, if you look at the Huskies' first 7 or 8 or 9 games, not much 70-yard play, not much 60-yard play. That's kind of gone away a little bit. We had one big play against USC, a couple. So it's going to be up to the big plays, both sides. WSU's going to have some 40, 50-yard plays. So are the Huskies. If they're on a trick play, that's obviously going to be helpful and fun. But it ends up being a big play game, and that's the Husky motto to get to victory is you got to have a couple, 3 big plays.
Yeah, we tend to have a problem with misdirection plays in general. I mean, Grinch does a great job of putting us in a position to show up and make a play. But if you go back and look at that Colorado game, there was play after play where we were in the right position, but we just didn't get them on the ground. And trick plays, playing into that, keeping us off balance, I could totally see having an impact.
Both teams' biggest strengths on offense, I think, are their offensive lines. They have big offensive lines. Cougars' offensive line is huge, including Wenatchee's own Cody O'Connell, who's now a finalist for the, I'm sorry, what's the award for the
Outland
top?
Trophy.
Outland Trophy. He's one of the top 3 finalists, Wenatchee guy. Good as a redshirt junior. He's 6'8", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
His nickname is the Continent.
He's more like 350. He's a huge guy.
He's a huge guy.
Yeah.
But he's been doing a great job keeping your quarterback protected this year.
Well, and I'm sure the Huskies would like to see him right alongside Trey these days, right? Yeah, I mean, it's one of the strongest units on the field. And, again, going back to the fact that Joe Mathis is out of the team, frankly, I think Luke Falk's can have all day to throw the ball.
Yeah.
What Colorado showed is that if you can keep us from going deep, right, and you make us throw those underneath crossing routes, you just step up and stick those little athletic wide receivers that we have, then we're going to have a tough time moving the ball, and Luke's going to start getting frustrated.
Might be a little windy in Pullman today. It's going to be dry. A little rain at the start of the game, and that's it. Rain goes away. 45 degrees, breezy. How does that affect the passing game? I'll ask you first.
I really don't think it's going to affect Luke much at all. He's been playing in inclement weather in Pullman for the last 3 years, and he's doing it at home. So I don't see that being much of an issue. As far as the little Browning kid who looks like he should be at dental school.
The little Browning kid. Okay, now we're starting.
I think he may show up and not really know what's hitting him there. I mean, has he played a game under 50 degrees this year? I'd highly doubt it.
Yeah.
So,
And I think the short ball, both will be fine. It's the deep ball. We're going to try to go deep 4 or 5 times. We always do. Jake's ball sometimes will get up there and kind of do some funny stuff. So, I think it will have effect on the deep passing game. We like to go deep when we can. Get John Ross, split a safety in a corner and go. So we'll see. We'll see if we hit the big plays. You'll know right away if we hit the big plays deep, it's not bothering them. If you get a couple that you miss by 2 or 3 yards. A lot of times that'll be with either mentally you thinking what the wind's going to do or having the wind do something with the football.
And that dovetails to my next question, special teams. Who has the advantage there? We're talking punting and kicking. The ball goes up in the air and the wind does funny things.
Yeah, well, it's actually a strong suit for the Cougars. I had some notes here with respect to some
because they're
stats.
actually making extra points this year or they're not?
Well, that's a whole other adventure. But we are averaging 16.1 yards per return per punt, where the Huskies are averaging 9.5. We're only talking about 7 yards there, but there's some productivity to be gained there, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of punting. I think both teams are going to score quite a bit of scoring.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
But if it comes down to field goals, who has the advantage there?
I would say the Husky kicker seems to have been having a bit of a better year. You guys are missing some extra points, but then is he making his field goals now, the lefty?
It seems like if you put him outside of 50, he's going to drain him. But anything inside of 30, it's a crapshoot. We'll just have to see.
The game is a Friday, and it's also Thanksgiving week. They moved it to Thanksgiving week, 2, 3, 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a little bit while, yep.
Does that affect anything at all? I mean, it's a short week. They don't play on a Saturday. How does that change preparation for the team?
I mean, I don't know about prep. I'm sure Leach took a look at this and just being kind of the brainiac that he is, says, yeah, we'd like to win in Colorado, but let's go win that Apple Cup so we get to the Pac-12 championship. So I wouldn't be surprised if he looked past Colorado just in an effort to be better prepared for the Huskies.
So you think he may have been playing possum last week in Boulder?
And that's totally why we lost the Eastern game because he just, he's trying to get an impact from the team.
They lost to a Big Sky team. Granted, Eastern's a good team. We're not going to deny them that, but it cost them a lot of respect nationally because it was the second year in a row that they went out and laid a big fat egg against an FCS team for the first game of the year. But he didn't light into his team, Coach Leach didn't until they lost to Boise State on the blue turf. Then he just tore into his team, and ever since then, they've kind of hit Control-Alt-Delete and
Yeah, it's been a frustrating start to the seasons for Cougar Nation each of the last 2 years. There's no other way to look at it.
But you look at them today, and I as a Husky fan, sometimes you get nervous over this game, and it's like, I don't know that WSU isn't a better team, to be honest with you. The way both teams are playing now, I mean, it's I don't know what the point spread is. 5, 6 points.
Yeah, I just checked this morning. It's about 6.
Yeah, and it's probably about right. It's not a surprise if WSU wins. I think it would be a surprise if anybody blew anybody out. That would surprise me if somebody wins by 3 touchdowns.
I
don't anticipate
last year's
happening.
game at Husky Stadium was a blowout, but of course, Mr. Falk was not playing last year, and that changed the entire game, didn't it?
Well, yeah, and that's been the case in each of the last 3 years. We've been missing our starting quarterback, and Falk would come in for Halliday, and being a young player without reps. I mean, this offense is all about getting the reps, understanding the numbers, understanding the patterns that are in front of you, and be able to drop the ball on a dime. But
So you're going to be in Pullman.
I am.
You ready for the what?
I got a beer with my name on it sitting there for about 2 minutes.
You're heading down the road to Pullman. When was the last time you were at Martin Stadium for a Cougar game?
It was actually that Eastern game earlier on in the year.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you expecting a different kind of atmosphere today?
I certainly hope so. Yeah.
How many Husky fans are going to make the trip? Do you know?
Oh, they'll be. It's going to be mostly Cougars. So I bet you there's 4,000 or 5,000 Husky fans in that place, and it's always. I went back when I was in college, and it's always a fun atmosphere to go to. It can get a little raucous in that place. There might be an adult beverage or two on some of the fans, and but it's a great. And I'm excited to watch Cody play. I'm excited to watch Trey play for the UW, and it's. These are just great, fun games. Obviously, if the Huskies win, they're playing for a lot, and so are the Cougars to play in the game next Friday night, Pac-12 championship against whoever. You win that, you're in a Rose Bowl, or maybe some sort of national championship stuff for the Huskies. It doesn't get any bigger than this or any more fun.
While we have just a few minutes left, if the Huskies win today, and if the Huskies beat either Colorado or SC for the Pac-12 championship game next week, at 12-1 in the conference championship, are they in the Final Four?
I think a lot of it depends on what the other teams do. I don't think it's an automatic shoe-in. Obviously, Michigan and Ohio State have to play each other. Someone's going to lose that game.
That's an elimination game.
Man, I don't
Maybe.
know. I don't know that a 2-loss Ohio State team doesn't rank higher than a 1-loss Husky team, or vice versa. Hard to keep a team out that does that. But if they do and you end up in the Rose Bowl, that's not a bad place to go.
That's true.
Who wouldn't have taken the start of the season and say, you're 12-1 and Pac-12 champs? I mean, I think that's not a bad. Or if you're the Cougars and you end up being, you win the next 2 games, you end up 10-2. I mean, those aren't bad seasons, right? Everyone should be happy with that.
I would say last year we were all popping champagne the second we got bowl eligible, right?
Yeah.
And this year we went right past that 6-win mark, and we didn't even look back. I mean, it was kind of.
And you don't want to spend the holidays in El Paso in the snow again.
It's hell on earth, that place. I've done it before. Nobody wants to be there.
Just from what I've been studying with and I follow college football, if Michigan wins, beats Ohio State tomorrow, that pretty much eliminates Ohio State, because that would be 2 losses, even though they're 2 tough losses, but they would not play for a conference championship.
Right.
They wouldn't make it. If Ohio State wins, they don't go to the Big Ten championship because Penn State would. Because Penn State owns the tiebreaker. So you're looking at an 11-1 Ohio State team with a lot of really good victories. So if you're a Husky, you're cheering for Michigan tomorrow, aren't you?
Okay, whoever gets us to the top 4.
Okay.
But all you can do is take care of what you can take care of, right? Which means you got to win today and you got to win next Friday night against a really good team, whoever shows up there. I mean, it's not, and we're not really peaking quite yet. We peaked earlier in the season. We got to get hot again, and we'll see if that happens.
I think Husky fans need to ask themselves, would they rather get boat raced by Alabama in the playoff or boat raced by Penn State in the Rose Bowl? Because, I mean, either way, you really don't stand a chance, right?
I don't know. So you got to play it, right? You got to play it and see. Right?
All right, we got 1 minute left. Brian Mayer, final score prediction.
Final score, I'm going to go high-scoring affair for the Cougars. There's going to be a defensive touchdown in there somewhere. I'm going to say 38-10.
Wow, for the Cougs.
For the Cougs.
So the game I said it wasn't going to be a blowout. He's picking a blowout.
Right. Frankie, what do you think?
I got 34-28 Huskies.
34-28 Huskies. I think a controversial late play will end the game. I'm not going to pick a winner or a loser. They're both winners to me. Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz, Brian Mayer, thanks for coming in and joining us. We got
Good luck.
Brian the Mayor and Frankie the Mayor. Have a good time in Pullman.
Thank you.
Drive carefully.
I hope you see me tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll see you later on tonight, right? You're coming back tonight,
that's
I hope.
it. That's right.
All right, police, keep in mind this guy's coming to Pullman, so just pull him over. Everybody have yourself a great Friday. Enjoy a great weekend of college football. 12:30 kickoff, Apple Cup, the 109th Apple Cup. That's it for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll see you Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.